So if you missed yesterday's Champions League match between Barcelona and Inter Milan, I feel sorry for you, because it was one of the best Champions League first legs I've ever seen. A 3-3 draw, so 6 goals in total, and 4 out of those 6 goals were absolutely ridiculously good. This backheel by Thuram, which is the fastest ever goal scored in a Champions League semi-final after just 30 seconds. This insane bicycle kick by Denzel Dumfries off a corner. This ridiculous hit from Rafinha, which was ruled as an own goal for Sommer, but I think that's a little harsh on Rafinha. And then, of course, this brilliant solo run and finish by 17-year-old Lamine Yamal, who made history that game. In this video, I'll be talking you through Lamine Yamal, the significance of his role in the match against Inter, and the comparisons between him and some of the best footballers of all time. So firstly, I'm sure you've seen this graphic floating around comparing Messi, Ronaldo, and Yamal at 17, and Yamal absolutely blows them both out of the water. It's extremely impressive, and I was looking around trying to find some other great players at 17 years old. Almost none of them compared to Yamal except Pele. Now, stat tracking wasn't really around in the 1950s, but Pele did make his debut for Santos at age 15 and scored 6 goals to win Brazil the World Cup at age 17, so that's arguably more impressive than Yamal right now. But still, let's take nothing away from what Yamal's doing. In the modern era, he's undoubtedly the best player at the youngest age. Now, in that graphic I just showed you, you may have noticed his appearance number was at 100. Yes, that game against Inter marked his 100th appearance for Barcelona. And to do so when most players are still in the academy is ridiculous. Now, if we're going to compare Yamal to some other young superstars in the modern era based on their first 100 appearances alone, that's when Yamal's brilliance starts to fade a little bit. If we compare him to Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe, and Haaland, some of the best teenagers in the modern era, he actually ranks second last for goals scored in his first 100 appearances. But Yamal isn't an out-and-out goal scorer, so that's to be expected. With assists, he is joint second with Neymar, but behind Kylian Mbappe. And if we combine goals and assists, he does also end up being second last, ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo. Mbappe, Haaland, and Neymar are the clear frontrunners after 100 appearances. Now, there are a few key things to keep in mind here. Number one, yes, while this is all 100 appearances, all these players made their 100th appearance at an older age than Yamal. Neymar was almost 19, Haaland was almost 20, Mbappe was 19, Ronaldo was almost 20, and Messi was almost 21. Also, there's so much more to the game than just goals and assists. When you watch Yamal, you can totally see how special he is, even if he doesn't pop up with a goal or an assist in a match. Out of all these players, he reminds me most of a young Neymar with his dribbling style and his directness and his love of the game. Honestly, the fact that he's being compared to these greats anyway is a high honor, and he totally deserves it. He's brilliant. I almost forgot, I talked about how Yamal made history in the game against Inter. Well, the history is, with his goal, he became the youngest player to score in the Champions League semi-final, just beating out Mbappe, who did so against Juventus almost 10 years ago now. Breaking this record right after doing the same in the Euro semi-final is outstanding, and I bet he'll be hoping to become the youngest ever scorer in the final itself. Now, the pundits on CBS's Champions League show managed to grab an interview with Yamal after the game, and I found it to be super interesting. For one thing, Henry actually asked Yamal for his shirt, which is an insane honor from one of the best players in football history. Speaking of one of the best players in football history, Micah Richards said he'd dye his hair like Yamal has it if Barcelona end up winning the Champions League, so I think that'll be enough fuel to the fire for Yamal to push his team to that victory. But aside from that, as someone who had never seen a Yamal interview before, it gave me a really good insight into his attitude. He really did come across as very humble, very well-spoken, very thoughtful. Thierry asked him how he manages to play so well at such a young age, and Yamal pretty much said the key was to enjoy himself and play for fun, which totally reminds me of a young Neymar. He says he tries not to overthink things on the pitch, and he said he thinks Barcelona will win the treble this season. He also commented on this crazy chance that looked like a half-cross, half-shot, and he said he was going for goal. Now, there are some of these freak accidents like Pulisic's goal against Mainz a while back that I do doubt that they're actually going for goal, but for someone like Yamal, I definitely believe it. Honestly, for a 17-year-old with this spotlight, he did come across as very confident, and I did like how he knows not to put too much pressure on himself. But I'd love to hear all your thoughts on Yamal's first 100 games as a Barcelona player. I think pretty much all of us, besides maybe Real fans and Espanyol fans, are rooting for him to go on and be one of the greats. We've seen too many promising teenagers get ruined by injuries or just fall off for no reason, and I really hope Yamal is different. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to Footballers for more videos like this one.